Coming to you live from Kibabe University right here in Bungoma County, or if you prefer, and as they call it, BG. Now to our top stories this particular evening. Tonight, President William Ruto fulfills a major campaign pledge by unveiling the 50 billion shillings Hustler Fund kitty.
Leo tumekuja katika sherehe hii ya kuzindua rasmi fund ama hazina ambayo itashughulika na wananchi wa kawaida pale chini katika taifa letu la Kenya.
With some leaders and Kenyans expressing their mixed reactions about the fund. The Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP Nuruddin Haji, applies to withdraw the murder charge against Sarah Wairimu Cohen.
The state must be accountable under Article 10. The state must be transparent under Article 10 of the Constitution. And the state must be responsive.
This on the same day, he recommended the withdrawal of a murder charge against Public Service and Gender Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa. Government swings into action as cholera claims 25 lives since its outbreak was first reported.
So far as at 26th, we had 10 counties involved. The 3 counties with the highest burden of the disease is Nairobi County, where all the 17 sub-counties have been affected.
Catherine Simalo is on the sign language docket. My name is Stanley Nyirungita, and a very good evening to you once more. And definitely we start with the first story, matches the whole Hustler Fund and the launch of it today. So in less than 100 days of being in office, President William Ruto has launched the 50 billion Hustler Kitty that is meant to boost small business owners. The fund, which will be accessed through mobile phones, will attract a 9.5% rate if defaulted after the 14 days threshold of paying. Flora Lemuki with more.
This was the mood at the Green Park Bus Terminal in Nairobi before the launch of the Hustler Fund. President William Ruto interacting with small-scale traders who had come to showcase their products. And in a jovial manner, the head of state and the second in command enjoyed the freshly roasted maize from the small business owners who stand to benefit from the fund. The crowd was treated to a light moment as the leaders in attendance spent up to 100,000 shillings to promote snack sellers at the launch.
amesema atanunua hiyo shati na 50,000.
As Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua bought a Mutumba shirt from a vendor at a cost way higher than normal.
Waziri Moses Kuria amemnunulia moja na 60,000.
The president launched the Financial Inclusion Fund, dubbed the Hustler Fund, one of his major promises during campaigns. The fund is expected to help ordinary Kenyans and especially small business owners access credit easily, as well as save 5% of the money borrowed.
It's a little bit fair, but for the amount, I feel it's limiting. Yeah, 50,000. For some of the businesses, it will be limited.
Hustler Fund borrowers who will default on the loan will see their interest rates increase from 8% to 9.5%. If a customer will not have paid the loan within the required time, they will be given an extra 15 days before an increase of the interest rate.
80% of those Kenyans on CRB are on CRB because of 1,000 shillings.
The borrowers who default will also have their Hustler Fund accounts frozen. However, contrary to other digital lenders, defaulters will not be listed on CRB as they will have another chance of reborrowing. The launch of the long-awaited Hustler Fund is a big plus to the small and medium enterprises in the country. As for some business owners, as little as 1,000 shillings is enough to run their day-to-day business activities. Flora Lemuki, TV 47, Nairobi.
Thank you for that, Limoki. Now, still on the same matters, a section of members of parliament allied to the Azimio One Kenya coalition have picked issues on the just launched Hustler Fund by President William Ruto, terming it a pyramid scheme meant to defraud Kenyans of the hard-earned money and further edge existing financial lenders. Now, led by Embakasi Member of Parliament Babu Wino, they question the interest rate imposed on the loan offered. Mwege William with that report.
Asante sana.
The fulfilling of one of President William Ruto's campaign pledges has not been received well by some quarters, with some opposition leaders now faulting a number of issues touching on the ambitious project. A section of legislators allied to the Raila Odinga-led Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition questioning the interest rate imposed on the kitty.
Because when you say that Hustlers Fund will be for free, and now you cap it at an interest rate of 8%, and I did say that 8% of 50,000 is 54,000. 54,000 minus 50,000, you pay with an interest rate of 4,000 in 14 days. 4,000 Kenya shillings can do a lot to a mama mboga. Why are you taking this money from a mama mboga?
The section of MPs was also not in agreement with the terms and conditions of the loan, especially the repayment part.
In fact, the Hustler Fund is an enhancement of Fuliza. They want to outmarket or to edge out Safaricom and the banks that underwrite Safaricom from the business of Fuliza.
This fund is biased. The beneficiaries are selected. One of the questions we can ask today, you saw there was a skit going on there.
The team of MPs called for consolidation of the various funds given by the government into one and place the loan limit to 100,000 shillings rather than the current 50,000 shillings offered by the fund.
To combine the Hustlers Fund together with this 6,000 Social Protection Fund, together with the money that was meant for the Kazi Mtaani, the youth who are not now proceeding with that job. There's money that was left that was supposed to be paid to them. Combine this money, then on a minimum, give every hustler a minimum of 100,000 Kenya shillings.
The legislators also raised concerns over the source of the fund and its legality, taking issues with the process used by President William Ruto's government to create the fund.
Any fund, the nature of which will incur exchequer money to the tune of what the Hustler Fund is now about to consume from the taxpayer, cannot be brought through the back door by way of regulations. Those regulations have quickly been channeled without sufficient public participation through the Committee of Delegated Legislation, sneaked into Parliament and voted, and the exchequer is going to incur 50 billion. We are very clear. We are not begrudging the...
President William Ruto launched the 50 billion shillings kitty Wednesday at Green Park Terminus in Nairobi. Mwege William, TV 47.
Right, thank you for that. Now, tonight, President William Ruto has launched the 50 billion Kenyan shillings Hustler Fund, his flagship August 9th general elections campaign pledge that will be rolled out to more than 15 million Kenyans at a flat rate of 8%. During the launch at the Green Park bus terminus, the president said today's move has given 8 million Kenyans blacklisted by the Credit Reference Bureau a second chance to access affordable loans.
President William Ruto's much-awaited 50 billion shillings Hustler Fund became a reality on Wednesday when he launched the kitty set to benefit more than 15 million Kenyans, while enlisting 8 million others excluded from the credit market due to blacklisting by credit reference bureaus.
Even if in the past you have not been good at credit and you have been locked out, and 8 million of Kenyans have been locked out from the credit system, the government of Kenya, the Hustler Fund, is giving you a second chance to begin again. That is why we said in the Hustler Fund, nobody will be excluded. There will be no exclusions. Everybody will be given a chance. And I want to ask, those of you who will be given a second chance, please do not abuse that second chance. Use it well. It will work for you It will work for your future, it will work for your business, it will work for your family.
10 million Kenyans, as you stated here, Your Excellency, have been locked out because of punitive and predatory lending. Many Kenyans, given an opportunity, are hardworking, and given a chance, they can move from bottom to the highest level.
The Hustler Fund capped at a starting figure of 50,000 shillings, with the lowest amount standing at 500 shillings. So the president and his deputy defend Kenya Kwanza's pet project.
Hawa mahustlers ya William Ruto hawana logbook, hawana title, ni simu peke yake na yeye mwenyewe ndio waweze kusaidika. So we are asking, please, let all critics and theorists and analysts give the hustler nation a break.
The loan will be accessible via mobile phone USSD code *254#, repayable in 14 days, and will attract an interest rate of 8%. 5% of the loan amount will be deducted to be deposited in a savings scheme divided into long-term and short-term savings.
We have made interest 500 times lower than the average interest rate in the market. And that interest is going to serve only two purposes: to make sure that we can run the fund and to make sure that the fund is available and is growing tomorrow to benefit the next person.
With no security required and easily accessible to anyone over 18 years, and with an ID to access the loan, defaulting on the loan after the lapse of the 14 days will affect the customer's credit rating. If a customer does not pay on a further 15 days, the interest rate will rise to 9.5%. And if one fails to pay after 30 days, the borrower will lose the credit score and the Hustler Fund account frozen.
Hata 2,000, hata 3,000 inaweza kubadilisha maisha yao. Kuna mama pahali Kawangware anangoja tu her first bunch of bananas for her to start selling and for her to change her life. There is a young man somewhere who is just expecting 500 tu ili anunue viatu kamera hapo Gikomba na aanze kuuza. You have taught us that we must focus on these people.
Kenyans already trying to access the loan have lamented about the long delays in accessing the loan, an issue the president attributed to the high request being made. The launch of the Hustler Fund marks a key step in fulfilling President William Ruto's core campaign pledge to millions of hustlers. The hard part of putting it to work now begins. Apul Kamau, TV47, at the Green Park Terminus in Nairobi.
Right, much appreciated for that, Apollo Kamau. Now to the corridors of justice and gender and public service, Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa sleeps a happy woman this particular evening. This is after her case was withdrawn. And as Collins Losoti tells us, many have complained and numerous complaints have been raised about the withdrawal of high-profile cases. Take a look.
For the last 4 years, Aisha Jumwa has been known widely not to shy from controversy due to her constant appearance in the corridors of justice. Most serious of them, a murder and assault charge of Gumbao Jola in Ganda Ward, Kilifi County, where she's reported to have stormed a political meeting, leading to a fatal shooting and violence. But today, Aisha Jumwa could be off the hook after the Office of Director of Public Prosecution, through a virtual court session, recommended withdrawal of murder charge against her, with the CS now becoming a state witness.
We are glad to report that today, when we had a mention of that case before the High Court in Mombasa, before Her Lady Justice Anne Ongijo, the DPP has in one resolve entered a nolle prosecute, which is an indication that the case, the murder charge, as against His Excellency the Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa, has been terminated. So this essentially means that this is a good day for justice. It's a good day that where we get to celebrate the truth of a popularity.
A month ago, after the nomination of Aisha Jumwa into cabinet, the Office of Director of Public Prosecution made headlines following yet another withdrawal of Kenya shillings 19 million CDF graft charge against the CS, apparently for lack of evidence, with her legal team insisting that the charges were politically motivated.
Aisha Jumwa, being the area member of parliament, walked into a hostile environment. Bullets were being shot up, violence was there, stones were there. Aisha Juma, all her life, has never owned a gun. She has never held a gun, whichever format of a gun. Out of the commotion that was there, somebody was shot dead.
The scene that we are now readily accepting justice as opposed to those public stands where we had public officers being charged just for the sake of it.
The withdrawal of cases facing high-ranking officials has attracted sharp criticism, with the Law Society of Kenya raising concerns. The president of the society, Eric Theuri, maintains that Kenyans deserve an explanation on why cases are being withdrawn in high numbers. The Kenya Human Rights Commission has also recently expressed shock over a sudden surge of withdrawal of cases. Collins Lusweti, TV47, Nairobi.
And still on the same bait, the family of the late businessman Tob Cohen has opposed the application by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions to withdraw the murder case against Sarah Wairimu and his co-accused Peter Karanja. Now, through Cohen's lawyers, that is Dunstan Omari and Cliff Umbeta, the family says that there is no sufficient reasons given to terminate the case. The lawyers further stating that the victim's family was not consulted by the Office of the DPP. Cohen was killed in 2019 and dumped in a septic trunk in his Nairobi home in Kitisuru, that is in Nairobi.
Nation and evidence or reasons provided to you. Let them put those reasons, comply with that section, give it to the victims, let us respond. The state must be accountable. Under Article 10, the state must be transparent under Article 10 of the Constitution, and the state must be responsive.
Right, and at the same time, Police Sergeant Rashid Ahmed Hassan, who is accused of publicly killing two persons in Isili, has moved to court seeking to have the Director of Public Prosecutions, Nuruddin Haji, to review the murder charges preferred against him. But Amnesty International says that it is premature to stop the case. And as Paul Kirobi tells us, IPOA issued summons against him to attend the court and take plea on the 8th of December.
The court will on the 8th of December decide the fate of Sergeant Ahmed Rashid, viewed by some as the crime buster, but a ruthless killer by others. This is after the Independent Police Oversight Authority, IPOA, issued summons against him to attend court and take plea for the alleged offense of murder of Jamal Mohammed and Mohammed Dair Keri. In an application filed at the court, Rashid wants the ODPP to review the decision to charge him for the murder of the two, but Amnesty International insists the decision is premature and that the move aims at interfering with the ruling.
And therefore it is premature, and perhaps I could argue that the counsels for Corporal Rashid perhaps have panicked because that chance was coming before the High Court on December the 8th. They have filed an application essentially to stop the process that would allow for the determination of who was guilty for the killing of those two men and whether Corporal Rashid is in fact innocent of the charges that are against him.
Through lawyer Dunstan Omari, Rashid argues that IPOA is not acting in good faith and has a bad motive in its decision, as he has never been summoned to give his account on the allegations.
He has never been called by IPOA. The Criminal Procedure Court, where my good brother Mr. Umbeta will address it, demands that he should record a statement. He has never recorded a statement to date. Fifth, has any of the eyewitnesses recorded a statement? None of those people who were present during that heinous act has recorded a statement.
Rashid claims that the armed robbers, who were about 7 in numbers, shot at the police and members of the public, and in a bid to protect lives, one robber who was carrying a homemade gun was gunned down in a heavy exchange of gunfire. However, Amnesty International says opening the door for unlawful police action threatens to open doors to enforced disappearances.
That opening the door for unlawful police action opens the door also for enforced disappearances, unlawful renditions, and violence, not least the kind that we saw in 2014 with Operation Sanitization.
The case stretches back to the year 2017 on the 31st of March at a mall plaza within Eastleigh area when the incident is alleged to have been committed. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
And Leon Matters court cases, Kawira Mwangaza, who is the Meru governor, has breathed a sigh of relief. This is after a court in Meru ruled and dismissed the 69 MCA's bid to oust her as the Meru county governor. So in her judgment, Magistrate Wamai Chirere said that the county government did not follow the due process to initiate the bid to unseat the Meru governor. In their response, the members of the county assembly have vowed not to give up, but to continue pushing for Mwangaza's removal as Meru governor. Meanwhile, the county head marked her celebration with a mention of the word sorry, quote unquote, 70 times to represent an apology to the 69 members of the Meru County Assembly and the County Assembly Speaker. Mwangaza had moved to court seeking an order to bar the ward representatives from debating her impeachment motion.
Stance, and this house still believes that our county is in wrong hands and it must be rescued immediately, Mr. Speaker.
Then we agreed that it is very important for us to abide by the court ruling, which we did, and we said that since the court did not say you cannot impeach the governor anytime, so the assembly is at liberty to even bring another impeachment motion tomorrow or next week.
We are very much ready to discharge our duties, and that is why we are seeing the government should stop cheating and inciting the community, our people, against the democratically elected members.
The mantra from the very word go, it is that Meru must be free from all forms of servitude, all forms of slavery, thus making Meru happy. Na kama hatutashikana mikono na viongozi wengine, tumalize umaskini, tumalize all forms of slavery, Meru will not be happy. Kwa hivyo nakaribisha viongozi wote na kusema kwa unyenyekevu kama gavana wenu, hata kama leo kesi kwa lugha ya kawaida nimeshinda kesi, na nyenyekea na kusema njoni tusemesane, tuongee pamoja, tushikane mikono, tupeleke kaunti yetu mbele.
Right now, after the High Court allowed the National Assembly to continue with the vetting of the 51 principal secretary nominees, various departmental committees proceeded with the vetting that is on Wednesday, appearing before the National Committee on ICT. PS nominee Edward Kisiangani committed to advocate for the removal of data bundles expiry. Mike Kagongo with the details.
Where we are able
Various parliamentary committees continued with the vetting process of nominated principal secretaries and whose reports are to be presented before the National Assembly after the exercise. The process proceeded after the court struck out 3 petitions challenging President William Ruto's nominees Monday. Appearing before the National Assembly Committee on Communication, Information and Innovation, Broadcasting and Telecommunications, chaired by Dagoretti South legislator John Kerry, PS nominee Edward Kisiangani committed to advocate for the removal of data bundle expiry. Kisiangani said there must be a reasonable period within which the bundles expire, saying that Parliament must give directions and legislation on the issues.
But when you buy a lot of bundles in one day and you are told they have expired the following day, it's a waste. So even if we were to give a leeway there must be a reasonable time within which you can do the bundles, to use the bundles at least for 2, 3, 4 days so that you can do the business.
Kisiangani was responding to Teto MP Geoffrey Wandeto's remarks, who said that the South African Parliament passed laws to remove short-term expiry of data bundles. On matters splitting big telcos, Teto MP Geoffrey Wendeto observed that one of the telcos moves huge amounts of money through its mobile money transfer, poking holes on over-reliance on a single operator for cash transfer. In response, Kisiangani said having one telco dominate money transfer service may lead to loss of a lot of money in case of a major economic turbulence.
Overall, I would like us to remember our communication, to support the bottom-up thinking and His Excellency, so to promote his agenda. Communication is very important. So we need reforms. I've suggested reforms on telecom. Telecom Kenya, and I've said Telecom Kenya, government has already returned its shares, rebought its own shares from Telecom France. What money? How much money did we get out of that deal? Parliament is saying they were not consulted.
National Assembly Committee on Communication, Information and Innovation, Broadcasting and Telecommunication also vetted Engineer John Kipchumba Tanui of the State Department for ICT and the Digital Economy.
It is checking the suitability of a nominee to hold a position. And that is the business that we were undertaking today. And we were able to delve into very many issues, including sector-specific matters, but also matters that affect Kenyans.
It went really well. We needed to get to know the candidates a bit better because, these positions are of importance to the nation. And we were able to gauge them, and we will be able to make our report very soon. So
we are very, very keen to retreat and basically put our minds together in terms of our observation and give our recommendation to Parliament.
The committee is expected to file a report before the Parliament's plenary as the nominees await their fate. Mike, GOtv 47, Nairobi.
Would you be willing to take an oath?
To matters health, and just a day after the government confirmed that it will conduct cholera vaccination across in the worst hit counties, the country is still reporting new cholera cases, with 25 deaths reported since the outbreak. And as Elizabeth Atieno now reports, the national government, in partnership with all the 47 county governments, have developed infection prevention control measures, including diagnostics to curb the disease.
1,094 people from 10 counties in the country are currently receiving treatment in various health facilities after contracting cholera. So serious is the situation that 25 people have lost their lives in a span of less than 2 months following the outbreak. The government, through the Ministry of Health's Acting Director General Dr. Patrick Omoth, has now raised concerns on the spreads, which comes just a day after the government said that it will commence a cholera vaccination program targeting 12 million Kenyans in counties most affected by the outbreak.
We remember the index case of cholera came out from Kiambu County following a wedding. But now out of that, we have had sporadic cases which are not clustered together.
Since the first 2 cases were announced on Tuesday, the 18th of this month in Limuru, Kiambu County, over 10 counties have now made it to the red list in terms of high infections, with the counties of Nairobi, Machakos and Garissa being at a higher risk.
So far as at 26th, we had 10 counties involved. The 3 counties with the highest burden of the disease is Nairobi County, where all the 17 sub-counties have been affected. Garissa Sub-County and Machakos County.
It has now emerged that 80% to 90% of Kenya's healthcare workers do not practice infection protection and prevention control measures, a situation that has now prompted the Ministry of Health, in partnership with all 47 counties, to today launch an infection prevention control measures strategic report to curb the disease.
So one of our challenges as healthcare workers is to be able to change that practice, that what we preach and what we put in documents that we have developed, we actually practice that and can also be able to influence community members and households, then they can also be able to do the correct practices.
Lack of water, poor hygiene and shortage of latrines have been identified as some of the main contributors to the spread across the 10 counties.
As a national government, we have developed infection prevention control interventions together with the counties. We have done risk communication. We have supported the counties in terms of diagnostics. And we also working with the counties to ensure availability of safe potable water.
Cholera is an acute diarrheal infection affecting both children and adults, contracted when one consumes food or water contaminated with the bacteria Vibrio cholerae. Those infected tend to have diarrhea, vomit, and experience a rapid heart rate, low blood pressure, and muscle cramps. Elizabeth Atienum, TV 47.
Right, and that story by Elizabeth Atienum takes us to a fast, short commercial break. When we come back, I'll be telling you more about the Pre-World AIDS Day 2022 celebrations and commemorations and how everything is going on right here in Bungoma County. Stick around for that.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Do pimples have you covering up and hiding? Well, let's treat acne in 3 easy steps. Acne's Creamy Wash for acne-prone skin removes excess oil and dirt. Acne's Soothing Toner soothes inflammation, nourishes and hydrates skin. Acne's Sealing Gel clears acne-causing bacteria. Mentholatum Acne's, a new beginning for clear skin.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
It has over 80,000 members, with its presence felt through 10 branches in Kiambu and Nairobi, with an asset base of 4 billion Kenya shillings.
TISACO was founded way back in 1992 by tea farmers.
We decided to change the name from Kiambu Tea Growers Sacco now to TISACO, so that we can be able to bring on board other sectors, civil servants, teachers.
We have the M-banking service. Our members can be able to transact at the comfort of their homes.
We have some in the US, Dubai, in the UK as well.
Tai is the Kiswahili name for eagle. It has focus.
Sikuwa na mashini hata moja, tulikuwa tunaosha na mikono. I was able kupata loan ya kwanza 80,000, nikanunua mashini ya kwanza.
Nilienda nikapewa pesa ya loan, nikanunua ng'ombe, nikaongeza sababu nilikuwa na moja.
TISACO's 30 years journey has been a game changer to all our members.
We got 40 million from Tai with easy payment terms. I will not hesitate to recommend Tai to any business person.
Big with TV47 and win Lotto. All you need to do is watch TV47 and send 50 shillings to the payable number 328328. Account name TV47 to enter the draw. The more you play, the higher your chances of winning if you send 50 shillings to the payable number 328328. Account name TV47. Win Lotto. Everyone's a winner. Remember, send 50 shillings to the payable number 328328. Account name TV47 and win with TV47 and win Lotto. This has been authorized by the Betting Control and Licensing Board of Kenya. BCLB number *00885. Play responsibly, not for people under the age of 18.
Are you looking for a college that will impact your practical skill sets? Tristan School of Medical Health and Science Technology offers market-driven programs in diploma and certificate levels in the schools of health sciences, social sciences, applied sciences, and business and informatics. Enroll for our January 2023 intake to enjoy seamless student experience. You deserve qualified faculty leadership to set a good guide for your career. Tristan School of Medical Health and Science Technology, partners in your journey to excellence.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Right, thank you for staying with us right here at TV47. Now, the vetting of those nominated by President William Ruto to the position of principal secretaries resumed today, with over 20 PS nominees appearing before different departmental committees of the National Assembly. PS nominee on Housing and Urban Development, Charles Hingen, one of those retained from the previous cabinet, was put to task to overshow accounts compliance and his merit, telling the committee he was retained on merit by the President. Elizabeth Mutuku reports.
Under its concentration shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
In a bid to complete the vetting process of principal secretaries following a court ruling, various PS nominees appeared before various committees of the National Assembly. PS nominee for Housing and Urban Development, Charles Hinga, who is also one of the PSs retained from the previous regime, took the hot seat before the Departmental Committee on Housing, with members of the committee putting him to task on how the Ruto administration would actualize the ambitious pledge to deliver affordable units every year, given the prevailing economic situation in the country.
Don't have an absorption problem. Let me give you an example. Again, I keep on using Park Road because that's one that is completed and occupied. In Park Road, as I said, we had 1,370 units. I have received deposit from 33,000 Kenyans. So we are far away from getting to a place where now we are producing more than the market. The market is demanding for more of the houses. So at the moment, we don't see that as a challenge.
Energy PS nominee Alex Wachira, while appearing before the Energy Committee, committed to accelerating the evacuation of Olkaria Power in a bid to expeditiously retire thermal plants if his nomination is approved.
Projects that were implemented by REREC 3 years down the line, when you ask REREC, they tell you they finished their work. They are waiting for Kenya Power to do their part to commission. 3 years down the line. Others take 6 months. That is not little either. So there are those that are actually permanently stayed uncommissioned. So then you wonder what is the purpose of putting up infrastructure, and then the infrastructure is idle. And
in terms of how they have demarcated their regions, I'm well versed. Once we put the national task force, we now go down to the regional areas. We check per region what are the issues and which are the projects. We write and know what is the issue, and we address that issue such that we do not have lines that have constructed. Kenyans are waiting for power and the power has not come.
However, committee members wanted solutions to the high cost of energy and dealing firmly with cartels that are milking the government coffers.
Big complaints on Kenya Power on payment, on the pricing. If you see what you pay for the coupon, if you pay 100 shillings, what you get from that coupon is about probably the rest of, you'll only be paying 40 shillings. The rest of 60 shillings is taxes. How do we improve on the pricing of the tokens that Kenyan buys?
so now we have to agree on the scope of work by REREC, and that scope must change. And if this committee approves you, then you must start with the thinking that the scope of work by REREC must extend to include metering.
REREC engineers have come from Kenya Power. So in terms of trading, in terms of standardization of materials and construction, like, they are the same people. So it is very easy if they are put together for them to work harmoniously. They have gone to the same engineering school. So we should be able to have synergy within these two departments in terms of power line construction.
State Department for Tourism nominee John Olulta and Sylvia Museya Kihoro of Department of Wildlife all appeared before the Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife.
Are you going to ensure Kenyans that with all subsidies, the price of petroleum will be stabilized? Because as far as Kenyans are concerned outside there, they believe the government is not helping them. And the whole issues are around subsidies. So how are you going to deal with this?
Which strategies are you likely to employ to manage the cost of petroleum and to make the product affordable to Kenyan citizens?
Also get in touch with the sagas to show their strength. So my leadership and experience I'm going to inject into the department will be able to do the service delivery. So I want to be a servant leadership.
Justice Ndumanderi ruled that the petitions by the Law Society of Kenya, activist Frederick Bikeri and Dr. Magari Gikenyi were filed prematurely, and the court can only be approached when the National Assembly concludes the vetting process. Elizabeth Mutuko, TV47, Nairobi.
Right, let's jump to the classrooms now. And more than 2.5 million candidates have completed sitting and writing the KCPE and KPSEA exams today, and hours after President William Ruto assured parents that they will know the direction that their children will take academically after completing the KPSEA exams. And as Sharon Baranga reports, the marking of these national exams has begun.
Early this week, KCPE and KPSEA candidates began writing their exams. They sat for their last paper on Wednesday, and now the learners are waiting for their results.
Mtihani ulikuwa rahisi na pia si mgumu sana. Somo lilionishinda lilikuwa art and craft.
Yaani ulikuwa easy na hard. Yaani unachanganya.
But a day after President William Ruto assured parents that they will know of the fate of their grade 6 learners before schools open for first term, parents are still jittery.
Kiangalia watoto wenyewe ambao wamemaliza darasa la 6 ni wadogo, wengine hata hawajajielewa. Maana ni vile tunawaanzisha nasari mapema. Sasa watoto hawajajielewa. Tunashangaa hiyo CBC. Hawa watoto hata waende watapelekwa wapi? Secondary gani? Nani ambaye atashika jukumu la kuwahudumia? Maana bado ni wazazi, hawajakuwa tayari ya kwamba ni wajisimamie.
Wazazi ama kama mimi tayari na mdogo wangu ambaye amemaliza shule sahihi hiyo class 6, hatujajua kama watapelekwa zile shule zenye ni za upili ama watasalia pale kwa zile shule wako waendelee hiyo 7 ndio junior form 1, junior secondary ama ni vipi. Lakini kimaoni yangu ningependelea waendelee kwa zile shule wako.
Ni changamoto kwa wazazi kwamba hawa watoto ni wadogo, umri mdogo, wengine hawajafikisha hata miaka 12. Na kukaa mbali na wazazi wao itakuwa ni vigumu.
Marking of the national examinations has begun and results are expected in December.
KCP, all the other papers except composition and insha, we use OMR machines. So as we talk today, they will start taking back their mark sheets back to Nairobi. As soon as they get to Nairobi, we start running them on OMR machines. As you're also aware, KPSEA, all the papers, what do you call them, objectives. Again, that means they're just going to be run on OMR machines. That starts as soon as the mark sheets get back to Nairobi. So it will not take long in terms of running the machines.
KCSE candidates will begin writing their exams next week. Sharon Baranga, TV47.
I thank you for that, Sharon Baranga. Now to something that will be following up, and the reason we're in Bungoma will be following up on the whole commemoration of the World AIDS Day. And even as Kenya joins the world in commemorating the World AIDS Day tomorrow on the 1st of December, which will be on Thursday, the Ministry of Health has reported a progressive matches of HIV testing over the last 1 year. According to the National Syndemic Diseases Control Council, it continues to announce and campaign for the triple threat campaign for tomorrow and matters AIDS to end HIV and AIDS by 2030. Josh Onsare reports.
With just hours to the commemoration of World AIDS Day, the Ministry of Health and its partners have today launched the Ministry of Health HIV and GBV response tools and documents to help in achieving the 95-95-95 targets. Speaking during the commemoration of Pre-World AIDS Day at the Kenyatta National Hospital in Nairobi, Director of Medical Services Dr. Andrew Mulwa said the ministry has reported a significant progress in HIV testing and treatment over the last 1 year, as the government is keen on eradicating HIV and AIDS by 2030.
Everything we do here, including the dance, they cost money. It's never for free. So responding to HIV costs money. We need resources to buy testing kits. We need resources to pay healthcare workers. And we need resources to buy ARVs. And these people who have ARV, 1.2 million, they are not dying tomorrow. It is lifelong.
Perpetrators are grown-ups, you and me. And the end result of those children who are abused is HIV/AIDS.
In Bungoma County, the National Syndemic Diseases Control Council heightened its awareness campaigns aimed at curbing the spread of HIV and suppressing cases of gender-based violence. Various stakeholders while addressing residents at poster grounds in Bungoma after a candle lighting service to remember 2 million people who have succumbed to HIV since the first case was reported in the country, called on Kenyans to embrace the affected members of the society.
Kwa hapa siku ya leo sababu ya kuwakumbuka the 2 million Kenyans who have lost their lives to HIV and HIV-related illnesses. Families have lost breadwinners, loved ones.
Kuna wakati tulikuwa tunapoteza watu kama 1,100 kwa mwaka. Saa hizi tunapoteza watu around 20,000. Lakini pia ni wengi. Tuko na huzuni kwa sababu baada ya miaka 10, mwaka uliopita ilikuwa mwaka ya kwanza vifo za HIV ama AIDS ziongezeke.
In their efforts to end teenage pregnancies and gender-based violence in Bungoma County, leaders have vowed to hold to account the perpetrators in accordance with the law.
Wasichana wetu wa hapa wakifanya maneno ya ngono hadharani chini ya malori na inaenea, na hiyo ni watu wanatoka pale, wanakuja kuwaletea watoto wetu hapa magonjwa hao.
Nyinyi watoto wadogo, tafadhali, kama hujapata wacha. Wale wako nao ni sawa, tutatibu, lakini wale hamjapata wacha.
Serikali inazidi kutoa services to people living with HIV. And you want those services to be very of good quality.
World AIDS Day celebrations are set to be held across the country, with national celebrations taking place in Kibabii University in Bungoma. Joash Onsare, TV47, Bungoma County.
All right, and definitely expect a live coverage of the same right here in Kibabii University, where top county officials in the Ministry of Health will be right here. Now to the matters business. And President William Ruto has stated that the Hustler Fund will put an end to the exploitation of Kenyans by unscrupulous lenders who have been charging borrowers exorbitant interest rates. The head of state stated that currently there are about 8 million Kenyans with no access to credit because of a poor history, noting that no Kenyan will be excluded from accessing credit henceforth. Ruto further says that the fund will be replaced with a traditional collateral system that has always built behind security such as title deeds, logbooks and securities. To access the fund, Kenyans will only need to dial *254# to access Hustlers Fund starting Thursday, following its official launch by the head of state.
There you go. Karibu sana mtu wa Nduthi.
hapa. Very nice.
80% of those Kenyans on CRB are on CRB because of 1,000 shillings. Majority of them less than 1,000 shillings. If you thought 500 or 1,000 shillings was nothing, it is what is keeping 10 million Kenyans on CRB. You should begin to think how 500 or 1,000 shillings can keep 15 million Kenyans on CRB if it was nothing.
And this fund is going to help us do business. I'm a believer of having a church that does business and a church that has money. Christians that are rich. Amen?
Right, moving on, Kenya has received 15 electric buses shipped by the BYD Automotive Manufacturing Company from China. The fleet, which arrived at the port of Mombasa, is set to reduce emission and improve climate change through the nature of using renewable energy. Now, the shipment has also been made after a successful trial of 2 electric buses in Nairobi. In addition, the buses are set to run 70 kilometers per hour, which will boost road safety in the areas of commute.
It's the first time we are having buses that are coming in new as BYD. I mean, from BYD, who are the suppliers and well-known manufacturers of electrical vehicles. But moving forward, I think it's the first step of ensuring that our economy now runs away from what we call fuel-propelled engines and getting into clean energy. Clean energy here clearly is going to give us a new phenomenon of how to preserve our environment, but above all, support from the common mwananchi to support the environment.
These buses are capped at 70 kilometers an hour, which is 10 kilometers an hour below what our law says. So in terms of safety, we are taking safety to a much higher level than required. Majority of our charging is at night. And at night in Kenya, we actually have excess power. So that way we are able to then take up that excess power. And if more e-mobility companies come, we will actually see more investment coming into our green power, which is already over 90% renewable.
And finally, in the world of business, electricity generating company Kengen has recorded a 4.7 billion Kenyan shillings profit in the year ending June 30th, 2022. The company's net profit rose from 1.8 billion Kenyan shillings in the period to June last year. The company says it will upgrade its 40-year-old 45 megawatts All-Career 1 geothermal power plant to a capacity of 51 megawatts and uprate All-Career 1 additional units 4 and 5 and All-Career 4 from a combined capacity of 280 megawatts to 320 megawatts. Nine minutes past the top of the hour. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back with more.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Hey! Kaluma King Herbal Lozenges zinazo nguvu maradufu kutuliza kikohozi, vidonda vya koo na mafua. Kaluma King ni shwari.
Chika mama huyo muharifu kaiba kuku zangu, vifaranga wangu na mayai zote pia kabeba. Haya, chika mama huyo.
Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari. Sisi ndio tunabeba swag hadi ndani ya pitch. Sisi ndio the fastest, the biggest, the strongest. They wonder why. Time waliland kucheza ball na nati, sisi tulikuwa mguu chuma. Ball ni sisi na sisi ni ball. It has always been a part of us. We are passionate, so loud, they had to tell us to keep it down. Na sasa, it's that time again. The time for us to step up, tuwakumbushe why Waafrika wana shine kwa ligi za majuu. So if you love football, love Africa. Cheer Africa. Afrika ni sisi. Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu ya kizidi.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
And to the wonderful world of sports, preparations for the Eldoret Volleyball City Championships have continued with over 90 volleyball clubs from East Africa expected to grace the tournament. Speaking during a pre-tournament press briefing at the Sports Club Stadium, the tournament organizers assure that all is set as 30% of the clubs are from Nandi and Uasin Gishu County as they call upon the sponsors to invest in the volleyball tournaments.
We have welcomed many teams. We are expecting more than 60 teams to participate in this year's tournament. We have also international teams who have confirmed, and we are still waiting others to confirm. So we have one team from Uganda. They will be here by Friday. We are still waiting Rwanda Air volleyball team from Rwanda. They are in final stages to confirm. Otherwise, the teams who have already confirmed are 70% of the Kenya National League teams.
This particular volleyball tournament has such a huge impact on the local economy. You know, sport is unique that, you know, it touches on very many sectors in society, and particularly the economy. The trickle-down effect of sports to the economy, the local economy, is massive. So we really would like to partner and ask for your support to ensure that the benefits come back to you as our sponsors.
Now to some matters of football, 200 FKF Division 1 match officials earlier today concluded the pre-season physical endurance test at Kasarani Stadium. The match officials were drawn from the FKF Division 1 League and taken through endurance and agility drills to test their physical ability and medical test to ascertain their fitness to officiate league matches commencing on the 10th of December. The officials also taken through the 2022-2023 amendment of the laws of the game and football integrity classes.
Uko fitness yenye ukikaa ni speed work, sprinting niko sawa. Also the drilling firimbi naambiwa pia sasa sauti kama niko low ya ina improve pia.
As a match commissioner, I've taken time to take part in this course so that I can at least upgrade and improve on whatever I've been doing. On top of whatever we have been doing, there's another item that have come up with in terms of football, and it is associated with the integrity of our matches.
Now to the games of Game of Kings and Queens, basically. Nyali Golf Country Club, Daniel Nduva defeated Greg Snow to be crowned as the champions of the third leg of the 2022-2023 Safari Tour Golf Series held at the PGA Tour, PGA Baobab course of Vipingo Ridge. At the close of the fourth round, the two pros had tied on 2 over par 290, with Nduva having birdied the 18th for the day, 3 under par 69. while Snow, who started the day at the top with Mutahi Kibugu and Ronald Rugumayo, missed his birdie at the 18th to finish on 2 under par 70 to tie for the first place with a long-hitting Nduva. And in the playoff, Nduva took an early lead before emerging as the winner to taking home a total of 300,000 Kenyan shillings money prize.
I thought 2 under was enough today before I played. I mean, I shot the number that I wanted to. Played solid golf this last round. Just one mistake on 10. But apart from that, yeah, just positives from this week going into next year.
It feels great, especially it being my first Safari Tour season. My first pro event, as my first pro tournament I've won. I'm feeling happy. I can't believe I've won this week. I've fought this week and it's been finally all the work has paid off.
So I was able to achieve my goal of making cuts in the Safari Tour here at Vipingo, and I'm very excited.
Now to the game of chess and the 7th edition of the 2022 Africa Amateur Individual Chess Championships kicked off at the Mombasa Continental Resort as Kenya's Robert Oluka took an early lead as he upsets Sudanese Abubakar Tagelsir. The event has attracted a total of 93 players from 15 federations, marking the highest attendance in the event since its inception in 2015 in Matola, Mozambique. In the combined 12-player sections of women under 2,000 and 2,300, reigning Kenyan national chess champion woman FIDE master Sasha Mongeli maintained the lead with the maximum points in a category Kenya is highly tipped to scope big, fielding a total of 7 players. Sasha stopped Uganda's Mili Takali and Zambia's Naomi Mwale in rounds 1 and 2 respectively.
We are hosting this event in the coastal part of the country, which is actually the tourist destination, and we hope the participant will enjoy the environment, will enjoy the tournament, and at the end of the day, chess will win.
And finally, the 2022 East Africa Mini Classic Rally has partnered with the Kenya Breweries Limited ahead of the upcoming championship, which is slated to take place between from the 9th to the 11th of December. The rally has received 1.5 million Kenyan shillings as from the brewery company, as the sponsorship is part of the company's ongoing strategy to leverage the Kenyan motorsport scene to boost its sensitization efforts on responsible drinking as it supports the various sporting interactions. The 2022 Mini Safari Classic edition commences on the 9th of December in Nakuru, where several local and international drivers will race across the Upper Rift region in a thrilling 3-day race culminating in Eldoret on the 11th of December.
Days away from the rally, we are pleased to have Whitecap come on board, and this has been a big boost for us. It will make the event better. And we can give more to the event with the support of Whitecap. We are very, very grateful. We know that for the main classic also Whitecap was on board, and they have continued to support us. You know, generally in the Kenya National Rally Championship, if you go off a bend, you go into a field or a farm, and you're able to recover quite quickly and come back. In this one, you will land 3,000 feet off the cliff or into the bank, right into the cliff side. So you have to be careful. This is the real Kenya and the real Kenyan roads. So I think the tough sections will be where you have escarpments, and this is where you need to drive carefully and with a strategy, quickly but safely.
Right, some few seconds. It's actually 10 p.m. exactly, and we are done.